KC Chiefs take our guy Brett Rashee Rice. As soon as the pick was made, I thought goodbye MVS. It's a pretty intriguing trio. You could literally look at the next 5 years and say, okay, it's Rice, Tony, and Sky Moore in the slot. There's your top three.
Yeah, my only issue with that, John, is I think Rashee Rice is going to be in the slot for them. Some of his best tape at SMU is him playing in the slot there. When you look at this receiver core, the only thing they lost from it was Juju, who was made in that roll down. Rashee just is a natural fit to replace him. One of the things Mahomes was clearly frustrated about last year, going back to that playoff game, is the lack of precision and discipline that Tony and Sky Moore had in their route running. There was that one game where they would have two healthy receivers and they just literally stopped throwing the ball to receivers because it wasn't there. Rashee Rice is a very disciplined route runner. I know he's coming from an SMU offense that didn't have an elaborate route tree, but when you look at the routes he was asked to run, he ran them all very efficiently. There's no wasted movement there. Everything he did was on time and on schedule. I think Rice kind of gets them on track. I wouldn't be shocked if he starts day one for them in the slot.
I mean, if you're right about this does not bode well for Sky. Now, Sky did line up outside too, and he could do that. But
John, they believe they're interchangeable, just so you know. They think Tony and Sky Moore could be moved. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
What about Rashee Rice, though?
Well, he's going to play inside. I would agree with that. And by the way, MVS is the reason why they brought him back is they just didn't have any size at receiver.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money they're paying him. It's a little bit too rich for me. And he's from what I heard, he is kind of what they thought he would be, a big deep threat, a big target for Mahomes. They just need to get him the ball a little bit more, but as we know, he's never really commanded the ball.
Jerick McKinnon brought back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I still don't know what the hell happened, but
injuries.
Well, before the injury though, he had
lack of talent.
Yeah, I know, Brett, you've always been lower on him. I was a fan of his game coming out of college. I thought at least as a passing down player, he would pop. I really do think it was the injuries though, man. He had a really, really bad high ankle injury, and then he had a hip injury his rookie year. He had his gallbladder removed. The dude has had a really, really bad injury history. He's a distant three here. Isaiah Pacheco, over their last 13 games last year, was averaging 14 carries per game. I think that's about right. I think you can give him 12, 13, 14, 15 carries a game. Thing with him is he's just never really going to be a big player in the passing down, I don't think, especially with McKinnon back.
Not a zero, though. Not a zero.
Yeah, they'll throw him screens and just try. I mean, he's obviously he runs like the Tasmanian devil. Like sometimes he doesn't know where he's going, but he's going to run through people for sure.
Of course.
And you dial him up in the screen game. I like him a lot as an RB2. Get him in the 7th round. You start 0 RB, maybe get a running back in the 4th, 5th round, come back, get Pacheco in the 6th, 7th. I think that makes a lot of sense. The question, Adam, I'll throw this to you here with this receiver core is okay, we know what MVS is. We think Rice plays in the slot. Elephant in the room here is the Chiefs have been kind of signaling that Tony is going to be their number one receiver. And I mean, just from a target perspective,
could be, right.
It could be.
They're just talking about his talent, to be based on what I know. They just think he's so gifted. They just wanted to get him to the offseason because of everything that happened last year.
Right.
Yeah. He does things that no one else on the roster could do, including our guy Sky Moore, but it's all that he can do. That's it, whether it's jet sweep, playing in the slot, getting a match on a guy he's got incredible movement. He's
a freak.
He's a freak. Yeah.
There you go. That's what I was talking.
He's a front runner. So that bodes well. You're out in front when you're with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. He's a front runner.
You cannot trust Tony. You just cannot.
You can't.
You can't.
No idea what you're doing. But his inability and unwillingness to play through injury is the problem with him.
Yeah.
You don't know what he's thinking. The Giants could probably tell you they didn't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
And they moved on from him. But no, if he plays 14 games, he could be pretty special. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I did a solo interview with him. He was fine, but a little all over the place. I did actually ironically compare him to Tyreek, but so is Sky Moore screwed here? I mean, we'll see.
Don't go that far. It's just he needs to have a great offseason, and
he does.
And they're going to be they're heavy
trust.
John, they're heavy 11 anyway to begin with. They're going to be.
Yeah.
So
a lot of production to go around.
But the problem is, though, John, not that MVS will catch more than 40 balls, but Tony, if he's healthy, he's going to play a lot. Rashee Rice, he's a rookie. He'll have to work into it. If he knows what he's doing, he's going to play.
Yeah.
And you've got
Well,
Kelsey, who's obviously going to be their bell cow with targets. So maybe Moore only gets 50 receptions.
Kelsey, obviously a huge factor. But if you're telling me that MVS, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, Richard James, Justin Watson, that you're telling me that Sky Moore can't rise above this, I retire.
I don't see.
I'm retiring.
Let me
If
ask
Sky
this.
Moore cannot rise above this
Do,
group.
do you see 70 catches from him? That'd be a lot.
No, but I see 65 if things go really well.
Look at what the Chiefs are telling us. I mean, they want a full-on rotation. Maybe one of these guys pops is like a full-time guy,
Yeah.
but they want a rotation here. And
They've been telling us that, no doubt.
I mean, they want this will be maybe the last year they do it. Then maybe they'll try to go out and get a much better receiver next year. But like this system with Kelsey as the guy, and then you just mix in all these really fun, speedy players around him. Like it obviously clearly works. And I mean,
yep,
it's better this year. You know, you add in Rashee Rice, Sky Moore's a year older. It's better this year.
I mean, there's no one you can really key on other than Kelsey, and no one seems to do that anyway, even if they wanted to.